blow dry technique. It's the wrong one then, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. There's no music, it's just us talking. Okay, yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's time to let your hair down and truly get funky. Let your hair down. All you gotta do is dance. All you gotta do is dance. Let your hair down. All you gotta do is dance. All you gotta do is dance. Let your hair down.
Hello, lovely people. I think you can hear me now. Can you hear me now? Let me check with my technical team that you can hear me. Can you see me? So then the confusing thing is to not do it with your mobile near you at the same time, because then that creates a technical delay and you end up very, very confused. So hello, lovely people. I was watching you all coming online. I think I may have seen my partner in crime from secondary school, Katie. I think I saw her name go past. Sam, Valerie, Julie, Kay, Carl, hello, Jill, Claire, Ben. God, there's a huge, huge long list. So thank you all for joining me this evening for my webinar, Fringe Benefits. So I've had lots of messages, obviously kind of about how to cope with different hair and different things. And one of the biggest things that there's been questions about is obviously fringes. And I've had lots of people asking me for advice on how can I cut my fringe. And if you've seen obviously the adverts and the emails that were sent out today and yesterday, with Chardonnay, the lovely Chardonnay, and Sambuca, who just were actually, those were the stage names for my blockheads when I was working internationally. I always had blockheads, and it became known that my blockheads were called Chardonnay and Sambuca. I don't know where it came from, probably from a night of far too much drinking when I was working internationally. So what I want to do tonight is that before people kind of reach for the scissors, and I think I made that clear in my adverts and things, and even the kind of taking the kitchen scissors to my own hair. Look, I know that everybody has attempted those kind of things, but it can go kind of wrong really, really quickly. And obviously the background to some of the posts and the video was showing you some of those. I had quite an entertaining time myself looking on YouTube and looking at the kind of the different things where people had tried to cut their own fringes, and I could see, sorry, I can hear myself in the other room as Ben sat on the laptop, and it's weird because I've got like myself in stereo. So saying about that, looking on YouTube, there was some pretty tragic kind of attempts at cutting your own fringes on YouTube. So if you have any specific questions this evening regarding your fringe or kind of any things that you want to ask, then just put the questions in. If you want to ask a question, the more questions, the better. It makes my job easier. It's very difficult just talking to myself on the screen. And although I spend all day working in front of a mirror, that I hate looking at myself. So if you want to ask a question, then just to make it easier so I can spot them in the question feed as they go past, if you just put a couple of question marks. I know it's not grammatically correct, but the grammar Nazis are not here this evening. Just put a couple of question marks at the front of your question, and then it just makes it easy for me to see in the comments flow. So I went to the salon today and filmed some how-tos because I thought, well, how was it best to kind of do this evening and show you? And obviously here in the virtual salon, space is very limited. And so kind of actually doing hair would have been quite difficult, like doing it here. So what I did today is I went to the salon and I filmed some how-tos for you. And so what I'm going to do is going to play you the how-to videos. You can sit back and watch away. Whilst this is on now, I know that the lovely Claire, my model, who's up there at the top of my screen, quite often does it. But if you want to start a watch party and share this, that would be great. The kind of to let you know, and I've had lots of people asking, like, how can you help? And I know I sent out an email saying kind of like, share and comment, and I'm on a mission to get more likes on the Facebook page. But it literally costs you nothing. and it makes a massive difference in the whole weird algorithmic way that Facebook and social media works. The more likes we have and the more shares and the more people that watch this and engage with the video, then effectively that gives the business a real big boost, and means that we don't have to pay for things like advertising and all of those kind of things, which obviously at the moment helps us an awful lot. So please do like, share, comment when you see the posts. It means masses. Now, the first fringe that I've done for you this evening is my kind of step-by-step on how to blow dry a sweepy fringe. So, and how to kind of get that out of the way. And I think people kind of do it. There's some kind of make some really kind of easy, simple mistakes. Now, technology, you have to bear with me because I'm going to share you my screen and play you the video from another presentation. So just bear with me a second. So I'm going to put that back, and then I'm going to have to go over here, and then I'm going to have to go, yes, if I go there, excuse me, I've not done this before. So hopefully what you're about to see now, if this is all correct, is the first how-to video.
Ladies and gentlemen, pull out your hair ties. It's time to let your hair down and truly get funky.
Okay, so when it comes to blow drying your fringe, my first top tip for you is to always start with your fringe. Don't leave your fringe till last. Okay, leave the rest of your blow dry till last, but start with your fringe, because by the time you've dried your hair, particularly if you've got a cowslick or anything, your fringe will have started to dry in its own direction, and that's when you get those hideous kinks in that you can't manage. The next most important thing is that you need to have a product in your hair. Now, if you don't like a product, and I understand that, you want it to feel natural, I'm all about natural hair myself, but you still need to have something in there to give it some hold and to protect it from the hairdryer, and to also kind of control the drying process. So I'm going to use Evo's Day of Grace. So Evo's Day of Grace is an amazing product because it's so lightweight, you really do feel as if there's nothing in the hair, but it's giving you heat protection and just that gentle bit of hold that means that you've got more control over the hair. So I've spritzed it through the rest of the hair, but I'm just going to put a bit through my fringe here. Then comb it through. Now, the next most important thing when it comes to your hairdryer is to make sure that you have a nozzle on it. And when it comes to blow drying a fringe, this is really important because you need to be able to direct the airflow quite precisely. And in fact, most of what I'm going to do here is done with the pressure of the airflow from the hairdryer, not with a brush. So starting out, having put my Day of Grace in, I'm going to take my hairdryer and I'm going to position from above here because I want the hair to hug the head. So I want to take that volume out and any kinks. I'm just using my fingers, making sure that I'm holding this down, okay, and using the hairdryer and skirt over, and you can see here now that that's making the fringe hug the head, but at the same time taking any of the movement out. I'm then going to go over the make sure that I get that there. Still using my hand pressure. And you'll see that I'm concentrating on the root area. I'm not worrying about the ends. The direction the hair sits in comes from the root. So we can worry about the ends at the end. We can put different shape into those. And then, again, back down forward. And I think a lot of people's fringes get out of control when they're blow drying because they try and get a brush in there and then get a funny angle. That's why this is really important, because what this will do is make sure that your roots are nice and smooth and flat. So I'm going to use a brush now. I'm going to use my paddle brush, but I'm just going to use this as an extension of my hand. So same technique, over to one side, down, and switching hands. And over to the other side again. Still using the airflow, and you can see that I'm coming from above here to take that lift out, because I don't want lift in this fringe. Now, I am turn this into a sweepy fringe. My roots are now dry, so now I'm going to start telling the hair where I want it to go. So you can see now what most people do is they go in and do this bit first, which then starts to create the movement that you don't want here that prevents the hair from sweeping. Because it's kind of off sweepy fringe, because we're telling the hair to do two separate things. We're telling it we want it to come down, but then we're telling it we want it to go back. So you actually do both those processes in two separate steps. So I'm happy now that I've got my sweep in there. So now I need to start bringing this across. So to do that, I'm going to swap hands again. Take my hair here, put my paddle brush in, and now I'm going to be much more forceful with these ends. So I'm going to really start putting a kink into these ends. Okay, so you can see there now that I've got this nice lift. I'm still coming forward, but I've put my nice lift in here, and this is wanting to sit over here. Now, you can put a bit more of a kink in, and for that I'd use a round brush, so I'll show you now how I do that. So taking a brush like this, which we call a thermal brush, because the drum heats up as well, so it's kind of like using a styling iron as well as a brush. I'm going to take my brush, take my hair, one big section, and then I'm going to pull the hair like so. But it doesn't matter now, because my root, the shape is in at the root area. So it doesn't matter now that I'm pulling the hair in that direction, because the root is already set in place. So I'm just heating the hair up. I'm not moving it around a lot. Now it's just as important to cool it down. So what I like to do is just turn my hair dry around. Make sure you've got a filter on, and that just draws some cold air in. And then we can let that go. Okay? And you can see now that we've got much more of a kink pushing this hair back out the way. Now, like I say, this is a really light hold. If I wanted to increase that, then I could put something like haze powder in, or I could use something like Builder's Paradise. But that's basically my shape in there. And so you can see now already that this is kind of up and out of the way. Now, the next fringe that I'm going to show you in the next video has got lift in it. And in there, I'll explain a little bit more about things like Builder's Paradise and haze powder. Don't forget to like, share, and comment. And of course, you can always message us and ask any questions. Okay, so we should be back now. Let me just get rid of that off of my face. So as I try to work all of this out technically. Hopefully you found that useful. My key points in there really are that where I think most people go wrong with doing a fringe blow dry. Nozzle on the hairdryer is essential. Please make sure you've got a nozzle on. Using the airflow as a styling tool is kind of the best top tip. And for those of you who are my guests in the salon, you'll know that I use my hands a lot when I'm styling. and kind of use the airflow from the hairdryer to direct the hair. And that's kind of what I encourage all of you to do. The other thing, obviously, as well, is that in the video just here, Day of Grace. So if you don't put a styling product in, you won't get any hold. And so that is when the fringe is really going to kind of start dropping down in the face, start kind of flopping. And ultimately you're going to kind of end up with that greasiness because you're going to keep playing with it and pushing it back out the way. And that's going to then end up in going greasy. So Day of Grace is excellent because it has thermal protection in it. So this as well will protect your hair to 220 degrees, which is ample protection. You shouldn't be using that kind of heat on your hair anyway. For those of you that do cook roast dinner, I just urge you to think about what temperature you put your potatoes in. And so then kind of those kind of styling irons, we won't mention their name, that go up to 230 degrees are just not good for the hair. But if you have got them, then you definitely need to be putting some kind of heat protector in, like Day of Grace. So it gives you a real light hold on there as well. So Day of Grace, that's available. Obviously, it's available at the House of Brooks store. I've got all QVC. So www.houseofbrooks.store. By the wonders of technology, can I do that? Yeah, I can. Look at that, so clever. Okay, so houseofbrooks.store. Day of Grace is £21. And a bottle like this will last you probably 8 to 12 months easily. It's also really good as well, and I didn't mention it in the video, is that if you want to restyle your hair because you feel like you've lost it the next day, but you don't want to go to the lengths of washing and blow drying it, then this is really good just to spritz on the hair and reactivate it. So rather than water, this is a really great thing, or if you're going to go over with irons, it's a great thing to have just to spritz in the hair. Works as it's called a pre-style primer, bit like, so ladies, a bit like when you're doing your makeup and you use your makeup to, like you put a primer on. Primers became all the big thing a few months ago, or kind of in the past couple of years, really, primers, makeup primers. Well, this is exactly the same kind of thing for your hair. It's a primer. So it makes sure that the hair's balanced out, that you've got the best kind of surface to work on. And certainly if you're going to then go on and use other styling products, it will give you the best performance from the styling products. I didn't see any questions go up. Is there any questions regarding that blow dry? So what's going to happen is these videos are all going to go up in the virtual salon. So if you haven't liked our Facebook page, you must do. Like the Facebook page, and on there you'll be able to see that we have a private members group called the Virtual Salon. If you ask to join that group, all these videos are going to be up in the Virtual Salon group afterwards, so you'll be able to go back over them and watch them. The next video that I did was on a quiff, so how to do a quiff. So if the hair is really starting to grow out and kind of like you want to get it up and out of your face, then a great thing to do is the quiff. So by the wonders of technology, let's just try this again and see if I can share with you my screen and play you the next video. So bear with me 2 seconds whilst I go to this one.
Ladies and gentlemen, pull out your hair ties. It's time to let your hair down. And truly get funky.
Okay, so when it comes to blow drying your fringe, my first top tip for you is to always start with your fringe. Don't leave your fringe till last. Okay, leave the rest of your blow dry till last. Okay, so we may have a slight technical error in that was about to play you exactly the same video. Let me just go and check and see if I can find the other video for you. So I'm going to stop sharing that screen. We're going to go to Wii Video. It's definitely there. So let's try it that way around. So I'm going to share my screen again. Apologies for this. Technology has never been I say it's never been my strong point. I built a whole website. So hopefully you can now,
ladies and gentlemen, pull out your hair ties.
one.
It's time to let your hair down and truly get funky.
Okay, so when it comes to blow drying your fringe, my first top tip for you is to always start with your fringe. Don't leave your fringe till last. Okay, leave the rest of your blow dry till last, but start with your fringe, because by the time you've dried your hair, particularly if you've got a cow's lick or anything, your fringe will have started to dry in its own direction, and that's when you get those hideous kinks in that you can't manage. The next most important thing is that you need to have a product in your hair. Now, if you don't like a product, and I understand that, you want it to feel natural, I'm all about natural hair myself, but you still need to have something in there to give it some hold and to protect it from the hairdryer and to also kind of control the drying process. So I'm going to use Evo's Day of Grace. Okay, I am having a few technical issues with the video. Just bear with me, people, please, one moment.
Ladies and gentlemen, pull out your hair ties. It's time to let your hair down and truly get funky.
Hi, so one of the fringes that's really good, particularly to day 3 hair, is a quiffing. And it's really good as well if your fringe is at that stage where it just keeps falling in your face and it's getting on your nerves, then it's a great way to kind of put your fringe up and out of the way. What you try and do it on completely clean hair, because the hair is just going to have no grip and hold to it. It's not saying that you can't do it, and you'll see in a minute I'm going to use a product and I'll explain to you kind of, you probably want to use a little bit more of that product if you're working on clean hair. Obviously, this is my blockhead that we did the sweepy fringe in. So she's got a bit of hairspray through the ends there. Now, I want to get rid of that first, because I don't want the hair to look overworked. So I'm just going to take some of my dry shampoo. This is Water Killer. This is great because it kind of cleans the hair and breaks down the product, but it won't give it that completely like just washed feel. That through, and you can see that just was me then to a bit of hairspray that's in there away. So then the next thing that I'm going to use is my Haus styling powder. So this stuff is awesome. It's like back comb in a bottle, and it's really good for giving volume and lift and hold. I like it because it's not a hairspray. So I'm going to end up looking like I've got on the hair or it's overworked. It's still going to give me that ability, but it acts as a really good anchor for you. And then I want to put a bit more of this in just to give you a bit more grip and hold. So taking the hair, I'm just going to sprinkle my Haus powder on at the root area here. I just want to make sure that I get it all the way through. So I'm just going to lift the hair up gently. Again, I'm trying not to be too much of a hairdresser when I do all of these things, so that you can see that they're really easy to emulate at home. So putting my Haus through. Then I'm going to take myself a comb, and now I'm going to back comb. I'm going to start at the front. I'm going to take a section. Now, when it comes to back combing, you see a lot of people kind of doing this frantic action like this. Well, actually, all that happens then is that you put the back comb in, but then you take it straight back out. I mean, hold the hair and then be really forceful. Tell the hair that it's going down. So you can see here, I'm just taking my comb out, lifting up, okay, and working back up, allowing some of the hair from the end to come down because that's what's causing the base. And there's my base. So you can see there that I've got lots of nice lift. That's going to brush out easily in a moment. Take another section. And again, just taking my comb, pushing it in and pushing down and making sure that I've got a nice even base. And then on my final section. So you can see now I've got lots of lift in there already. Now, I know it looks kind of like it's a bit all over the place, but then what we're going to do is we're going to take a bristle brush. This is my dressing out brush, but you can use any kind of soft bristle brush really that's going to allow you to work the hair, Mason and Pearson, any of those. So Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my hair, gather it up in my hands, and now kind of still holding forward because I'm going to create that movement in a moment. What I'm going to start to do is here, I want to tidy this up. So you can see here now how nicely the haze powder is giving me that hold, but I'm taking that kind of backcombed look off of it on the surface area. So then just bringing my hair back till I've got it secured here. Okay, and then I'm just going to push until I get my quiff. Now, this is entirely up to you. So you can take your quiff over to one side. Effectively, all you're doing is just pinching the hair here, which is giving you the control. And then you're just going to decide where you position it. So you can put more of a twist in it. You can twist it one way more than the other. You can take that. You can twist it the other way. Okay. You can push it. The more you push forward, the more height you get, the more you bring back, the softer it is. So then when you're kind of happy about where you're going to put it, then you can just finish off gently through here. Make sure you're happy. Weird for me working at this angle. And just take a curvy grip, waved grip like this. Making sure that you can feel that it's against the scalp over that little bit that you've got. Now, the next important thing to do is you're going to take a second curvy grip or waved grip. They have different names all over the world. And then you're just going to cross that over. So same action again, pushing in deep, but you're going to cross it over. So you want to make sure that you pick up your other pin because that's what's going to secure it, and push that across. So that's now secured in there tightly. And then on this bit here, you can now see that you can really, because that control's in there, you can position this and move this around where you want it. And if you want to put more of a finish on it, then just take your hairspray like your Builder's Paradise, spray that up. Now remember, you want to spray in the direction that you want the hair to go. And then taking my Bradford brush again, just gently combing this in. Okay, repositioning it. And because I've got that product in there and that control, and obviously her hair's flat to her head here because she's still wet, okay, you can see that I can be really forceful. So I can start to push this now and mold it wherever I want it. And she's really not going anywhere. Now, it's probably very likely that you're going to have some of these fly. You can see here, I can just gently take those in now because I've got that foundation in there. Okay, I am able to really manipulate it. Now, obviously, she's going to look a little bit odd because she's got her hair like wet and everything. But if you imagine that you've got a that you've even taken it to the side, it's a really great way to keep grown out fringe out of the way. Now, I hear you say, well, kind of what happens if you feel like, oh, kind of, it's not where I want it, I want to start again. It's really easy because, again, like I say, use water killer. So all you're going to do, and I think that I want to show you this as well because I want to show you how well the product works, and also not to be scared to backcomb. A lot of people get scared of backcombing, and in fact, sometimes I find that when I do something like this, and then I kind of forget, kind of find that because I build up the product in the hair, so like I was saying about it being dirty, so you can see here now there was quite a lot of hairspray and back brushing in there, just using the water killer and a soft brush. Again, I can take all of that out without causing any damage. What I would say is you do need to make sure, if you're going to wear the quiff in your hair, that you do need to make sure that you do brush it through before you shampoo it. So if you've done any form of back combing or any form of product like that in the root, then you really do need to make sure that you back comb it, that you brush the back combing out before you get in the shower. So the other reason I wanted to do that, the other great thing about if you wear a quiff, now you can only in for a couple of minutes. But if you wear a quiff for a whole day and then take it down, what you'll find is that the hair obviously has set itself back and away from the head. So sometimes, kind of do it, or, another top tip is to do that overnight, is to put the quiff in and sleep with the quiff in overnight, because as it dries, what it will do is it will give you that lovely lift and movement that enables you to bring the fringe back here and over to one side. I hope you found that helpful. Don't forget to like, share and comment, and you can always message me through the Facebook page or via my email, etc., if you'd like any other advice.
Let your hair down.
Okay, so hopefully you found that useful. And like I was saying there, like the quiff's a really good one as well. Is if you do it the night, like overnight, or even sometimes, like if you've got up in the morning, you've blow dried your hair, and you've got other stuff to do, your makeup, etc. Or again, if you're doing your makeup and you put a quiff in to get the fringe back out of your face whilst you're doing your makeup, then obviously when you take it down, that's going to have set the hair itself. And you can even apply the hairdryer to it. So like just hair dry it a little bit while it's set back in the quiff. And then let that cool down, take it out, and you'll get that great movement in it. So you kind of, even myself today, although it's looking a little flat now, and I've got the whole strange thing where the screen goes two different ways. But in fact, my hair was just wet this morning. I put some product in it and just combed it back flat and pushed it. And so then brushed it out so as it looks like it's blow dried. So the key product in that one there, I saw that some people asked, was this magical stuff, Haus powder. So Haus powder is in fact actually like a wax, but it's dried and powdered and made to be very, very fine. So it's super fine. This is, it comes, you can also get it with a dispenser pump. I've gone all QVC again. So it comes in two forms. This is the shaker, which is slightly less expensive, which I think is £21 off the top of my head, obviously available from House of Brooks store. But it does also come in a pump, if you would prefer that. If you're particularly going to be using it in at your roots and on fringes and things like that, then I would say that the shaker is ample and works really, really well. It's also great kind of because it is that dry wax. It doesn't make the hair greasy and it gives you that lift. So it's another great thing, a bit like the water killer dry shampoo. So it's good for just giving that kind of like putting it in. In fact, he says, I'll attempt it, but attempt it and not look at the screen. So even if I put it in my own hair now, you can see I can get, again, I'm going to have to look away because I can't do the whole screen thing. But even in my hair there, just that little bit just gives that life back to the hair. And the other thing that I used in the video there was obviously the water killer dry shampoo, which I just think is a must for everybody. Oh, that looks very pretty. Because it just is such a great way. And with the dry shampoo, this one I use quite a bit in fine hair as well to give it some guts. It contains rice bran, so it will clean the hair and totally freshen it up. But if you've got fine hair, this is also really, really good for giving the hair some guts, if you like. Or if you've got that type of hair, as much as it is a dry shampoo, and obviously it will clean and freshen the hair, but in the manner that it works, I kind of use it as a texturizing powder as well. So if you've got fine hair, this is really, really great if you hate like that hair that you hate washing your hair because you're like, oh my God, it's just going to go so fluffy and fly away. Then going back to the Day of Grace and water killer should be your best friends. So Day of Grace in the hair, wet and blow dry it. And then water killer afterwards, just to give the hair some kind of oomph and kind of body to it. And again, throughout the day, the water killer's not going to build up, and it's not a powdered dry shampoo, so you're not going to end up looking like you've got kind of tons of white powder in there. And then the hairspray that I use is Builder's Paradise. So the important thing about hairsprays is kind of understanding what they do. So we call Builder's Paradise a working hairspray, and you saw in there that it stays really, really brushable. It is strong hold, so it'll give you plenty of hold. But because it has waxes in it as well, it means that you can manipulate the hair. So it's not what we would call like old school, if you're as much of a dinosaur as me, back to the days of lacquer, where we kind of call it like set and forget. Like you spray that stuff on, you don't touch the hair. That's not what this is. It gives you the hold like that, but it enables you to work and manipulate the hair still. So using a workable hairspray is another top tip when you're doing stuff on your fringes. I didn't see whether we had any questions. I think I answered one question whilst I was on there, which was about where was it? Brilliant. That's amazing. Can you do it on a short fringe more product? And I think on the haze powder. So I do have a couple more videos if you would like to see them. One of them I have is on a cheats victory roll. So if you would like to see a cheats victory roll, then why don't you just all pop a 1 in your comments section now. So if you would like to see a cheats victory roll, then pop a 1 in the comments section now. There's lots of likes and loves coming. Ben wants to see it. You've seen it already today. Okay, so this next one's a cheats victory roll. In it, I kind of confess to the fact, look, I'm not a hair up master. Yes, I can do a bit of hair up. I spot there that there's one of my ladies that I've did for her wedding. So yeah, I do hair up, but I suppose it's never really been a passion of mine. Ben kind of really enjoys hair up. I know Carl does. I know Chris does. So, but it's not really kind of something I love. So kind of to share this with you, I can say it in the video is that, if I can do this, anybody can. So again, you're going to have to bear with me again whilst I find the video for you. So hopefully this will go a little smoother this time. So we're going to go here and here.
Ladies and gentlemen, pull out your hair ties. It's time to let your hair down and truly get funky.
Okay, so another fringe that I sometimes get asked about is a victory roll or a barrel roll, whichever you would like to call it. Now, obviously that's normally on a lot longer hair, but it can also be another great way of coping with a fringe that's kind of at in between lengths, like my dolly here, which has got all sorts of texture and different stuff in there, different lengths. So the first thing that you want to do is take yourself a bristle brush or a brush, just take the hair, and to bring I wouldn't do this on completely clean hair. So this hair here has had a bit of product in it, and she's had some dry shampoo put through. So she's on day 2 hair, if you like. So bring the hair here in front. I'm going to take a couple of waved grips or curvy grips, depends how you like to refer to them. Hold the hair quite tight, take your curvy grip and place it so that the hair, it captures all of the hair. So open it a little bit. Use my thumbnail there. Open it a little bit. And you want that to go across and capture all of the hair. So I'm going to go that way to start with. Then I'm going to get myself a second curvy grip. Same thing again. Just open the grip up a little bit. Now, it's worthy of note that hair up is not something that I do a lot of or particularly enjoy, etc. So I kind of urge you that if I can do something like this, anyone can. So I'm going to pull both my grips up to here. And then what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to use those grips to help me create that round shape. So I can then position my with all that hair tucked in inside. Just going to position my finger there, and I can actually put my thumb in and start to pull this hair now to create the shape. But I'm happy that I've got the victory roll where I want it. Finally, that on the base, same again. So you're going to want 4 grips because you're going to go from the other side now as well. And then just use that one to secure your hair across. Once that's in, nice and secure, you can play around. You can use your hairspray here to get some self in the eye. Okay, to create yourself that victory roll feel, and that's really secure and going nowhere. So obviously on longer hair you'll get more of a roll, but that's just kind of quite a nice way to do a cheats victory roll, if you like, towards the front of your hair. So like, share, comment, and if you have any questions, please just get in touch.
All you gotta do is dance.
Okay, so hopefully you liked that. Like I say on that one as well, the longer the hair is, the more of the roll you'll get. But you get the basic idea that you're just using 2 curvy grips, putting them in opposingly, and then actually using that to wind the hair down. Obviously, my base products in that again were the fact that the hair still had some haze in it. And again, we've got that base product in there of the Day of Grace. So there is one more video. I hope where I kind of take you through how to do my words now. How to do the quiff using your straightening irons. So I'll show you that one. It's a very quick video on kind of the top tips really on how to do the sweeping fringe, but instead of kind of trying to do that with the brush and stuff, but how to kind of do a cheat way, if you like, of doing that with the straightening irons. So let me try this by a magic, and I think we can do this and this one.
Ladies and gentlemen, pull out your hair ties. It's time to let your hair down and truly get funky.
Okay, so another fringe that I sometimes get asked about is a victory roll or a barrel roll, whichever you would like to call it. Now, obviously, that's normally. We'll give that a second try this time and go for the other video. Let's see if we can get the right one in. That looks a little more like it. Okay, so another great way to manage your fringe when it's grown out, if you're not particularly good with the hairdryer and the brush, is to use your styling irons like these. So the first thing is you need to make sure that you've dried the hair. So like in my last video, if you get to the point where the brush is needed and then you start struggling, I still recommend that you follow the first steps, which is to put the product in and to get the shape in. But then when it gets to creating that movement and bringing it over, you can make sure the hair's dry, obviously, put down your brush, and then we're going to use the styling irons to create that movement. You know, it's also quite good to do that on second day if you don't want to go to the realms of blow drying your hair. So I'm going to use Icon Welder from Evo. So this is a heat protector, but unlike a lot of heat protectors, it's not oil based, so it's not going to be greasy. And in addition to that, it is actually going to give you hold and protection against humidity, which obviously is particularly important around your fringe, because if we get hot and warm or anything like that, that's the bit that starts to lose it. So just a light spritz. I don't think you have to be obsessive about putting it through every section, but just give the hair a light spritz. And I'm trying to make this as client friendly as possible. So I'm going to do this without clips or combs or different bits and try and emulate how you would be at home. So the first thing is that we don't want to put the iron up here, because we're only going to work down here. So then gently put your iron on. Now don't clamp hard, just gently put the iron in, and then just rotate the iron probably about 180 degrees and just bring that back, and you start to see this in here. Again, next section. Just take the hair again. Now, don't take too thick a section because remember the heat's got to get through. So coming back down again, so just gently pop the iron on and then rotate round 180 degrees, just gently. Now you'll see I'm holding that and supporting it, and that's to allow the hair to cool. So that will set the shape in. When I'm happy that's there, I can let that go. And then my final section here now. So again, iron gently in, don't push down too hard. And then when I get to here, I'm just going to rotate and twist gently. Now I've got these irons on 150 degrees. They don't need to be on a massive temperature. Just going to take that little piece there and bring him over. Now, I would leave that to cool for a few minutes. Okay, and then once it's cooled, I know that shape's set in. And then I can either take my hand or, unfortunately, massive hands, take a nice shaped comb like the Roy. Okay, and I can then comb that and push that through. And you can see there very, very quickly. Now, if I want to put a bit of hold on that, take a hairspray like my Builder's Paradise, which is a working hairspray. And again, now, the thing with hairspray is to remember that it does need some time to set if you're putting this kind of hold in. And again, spray it directionally. I want the hold over this way, so I'm actually spraying it that way and then allowing it a few moments to go cold. So this is a working hairspray, Builder's Paradise, so it allows me to re-manipulate that hair afterwards. I can take that that's been driving us all mad and put that over. And I can even separate out through the sides here as well. So again, that's just really quickly, rather than having to get the hairdryer out, you can use your straightening iron, some icon welder and a bit of hairspray. And she's got a great sweepy fringe in there that's now out of her eyes and can wait until she can get back to the salon to have it trimmed. So don't forget to like, share and comment. And you can always message us for further advice. Okay, so I hope that was helpful as well on just kind of there, just a kind of a quick tip on just using your styling irons. And I think that that's kind of like why I always like to call them styling irons and not straightening irons, because there's so much more you can do with them. So obviously the top thing in there was the icon welder. Now, as much as I said that the Day of Grace has got heat protection in it, the hold on Day of Grace is minimal. So with this one, what Icon Welder has is it has anti-humidity in it and a much stronger hold factor. So it's really great if you're using your styling irons to create shape and you want that to hold in there as well. Now, obviously, I think I mentioned it in the video that particularly if you're working around your face area, and that tends to be where we get hot and maybe sweaty, and so that humidity can cause could cause your fringe to drop and things like that. So obviously Icon Welders are really kind of great one in there as well. I filmed another video as well on how to create volume, but I think kind of having kept you all for 54 minutes this evening, which is amazing really, because we kind of haven't dropped below 20 throughout the whole of the webinar. And I'm about to get like I know when I've been on too long, because the sunlight means that I start to get like patches in my green screen. And it distracts me because I've got like a little bit on my nose, that side there. So I hope that you found all of that really helpful. I think I haven't really seen any other questions in there. Thank you, Julie. I'm not sure about, she said that the format of pre-recorded videos works really well. Please as well, like, feel free to message me and give me any feedback. It's kind of quite, obviously for those of you kind of having worked internationally on stage and those kind of things. But the hardest thing about this is not having an audience as such, or not being able to see an audience's reaction. I'm getting like a hole. I feel like kind of like some kind of like animated character in the top of my head there. So please do feel free to give me any constructive criticism on the videos, or anything you think that would help improve, or kind of like make them easier, or stuff that you want as well. So if there's anything that you particularly do want to see in the videos, on the webinars, then please obviously just message me and get in touch. The products are all available on the store. Some of you may have been trying to buy Water Killer Brunette. So if you're still struggling with your roots, I showed it before last time. Here we go. The Water Killer Brunette. Okay, so if you've got roots, Water Killer Brunette, which is the dry hairspray that I was using today, but in a brunette form. So also if you are brunette and you want to kind of do all of the things that I was doing today with the Water Killer, and you've got brunette hair, then just order the brunette on the website. Now, the Water Killer Brunette was out of stock on the website because we sold out because it was really popular. We have more stock coming tomorrow. If you go on the website, www.houseofbrookstore.store, if you go on there and there's anything that's not in stock, you will be asked if you want to go on a waiting list. If you do that, it means that the moment the stock comes back in, it gets reserved for you. So if you go on the website and something's not in stock, make sure that you ask to be put on the waiting list, because it will mean that the moment the order comes in, I will set that aside and contact you by email. Those of you that were waiting for Water Killer Brunette, it will be back in tomorrow or on Wednesday. Everything else is in stock on the website. And also, if you like with the products that I've used this evening, if you don't want to commit to a full-size one, then Day of Grace, Water Killer, they both come in small sizes. So you can get yourself a mini on that one, and just try it out, kind of thing. Unfortunately, Icon Welder doesn't come in a mini. The hairsprays all come in minis as well, so the Builder's Paradise and the Water Killer does as well. So if you kind of want to try it out with a few mini products, then they're all available on the website as well. I can see myself like disappearing and morphing, and I can see that there's I can see in the comments people are like making comments about my whole, like, I feel like an animated character. It's quite entertaining. I forgot like that, it disappears. Like I say, I hope that you found it useful this evening. The videos will all be in our Virtual Salon Facebook group. If you're not a member of the Virtual Salon Facebook group, then why not? You mad person. So what you need to do is like our Facebook page, and then in there you'll see that we have a private group. If you ask to join that, there's no requirements. It's just, it kind of keeps it a nice way. All the videos will be going into the Virtual Salon group, so you'll be able to see them there and rewatch them again, plus a couple of the ones that I haven't shown you this evening. Wednesday, I will be back on Wednesday, and I'm going to show you how to do a simple blow dry. So a bit like this evening when I was talking about the Fringe, there are some kind of insider tips and tricks that are really not that complicated, and will A, speed up your blow dry, and B, kind of leave you feeling a bit more confident. So if you make sure that you've, I think that I made an error this evening and started the broadcast early by mistake, but it will go back up. So join us for the simple blow dry technique and how to on Wednesday at 7 o'clock. And also I'll have some other announcements for you on Wednesday with regards to reopening. So I noticed a couple of people posted stuff there saying we can't wait to come back. I've had some emails asking about going on a waiting list. So I've got some news for you about kind of what's going to happen when we reopen and how you can make sure that you get yourself on that list. Then I will be revealing that in the webinar on Wednesday night. So if you want to be first in the know and make sure that you want to get on that list first, then I'll be telling you how to do that on Wednesday evening. In addition to that, and there's going to be a competition. So I think I've worked hard enough over the past few weeks. So on Wednesday night, I'm going to tell you about a competition, how you can win yourself a guaranteed appointment in the first week that we open. Okay, so how you can win yourself a guaranteed appointment and the first week that we open. But you're going to have to be here on Wednesday to find out how you go about doing that, and also how you get yourself on the list to make sure that you're in the first flurry of people as we come through the door. I just asked you all to check your emails and your junk folders, make sure that you're receiving my emails. I will be in touch shortly as well. So there is a lot of speculation about opening and different things. And so I am going to be sending you out a survey. Oh, how boring. But, you know, like your safety and obviously for us, guest experience is such a major thing for us and for you as well. So I want to make sure that when we do reopen, that you feel comfortable and as safe as possible. And that, you know, some of the things that, you know, sometimes when you're a hairdresser and you work in an environment all day long, you miss things. So it's just your opportunity to tell me and the team what your expectations would be for you to feel totally safe and secure in the salon environment when we open and return. In the meantime, obviously, please do stay home and stay safe and protect yourselves and your family. I'm always here via email or via the Facebook group. Again, if you've enjoyed this evening, I urge you, once the video goes up, please like, share, comment. And obviously, I'm still on a mission to get 1,000 likes on the Facebook page. And some people haven't liked the Facebook page. I'm not going to get upset about it, but please make sure you like, share and comment. It makes a massive difference to us. Like I say, please stay home, stay safe, and I will see you on Wednesday at 7 p.m. Bye for now.